When was the last time you heard something from within that wasn't fear or desire, but truth? Maybe never, or maybe you did hear it, but chose to silence it. Maybe you felt that lump in your throat, that sudden chill in your stomach, that strange silence between two thoughts. Maybe you called it tiredness or distraction, but that was me. That was your soul. Yes, I'm speaking to you now, and no, this isn't a metaphor. I am what pulses behind your eyes. I am the part of you that doesn't age, doesn't pretend, doesn't forget. But you've been living as if I don't exist. You drowned me out with noise, smothered me with haste, denied me with logic. You learned how to survive and forgot how to live. But listening is scary, isn't it? Because deep down, you know that if you hear my voice, nothing will ever be the same. You'll have to stop running, stop hiding behind roles, goals, and soulless routines. So I ask you, are you ready to stop ignoring yourself? Because if you let me in, I'll remind you of who you are. And that changes everything. You've gotten used to existing, but you've forgotten what it means to truly live. You wake up every day as if you're late for a life you never really chose. And you run. Run like someone who's fleeing without knowing what from. Each task completed, each message replied to, each goal achieved, seems to pull you further away from something. Something without a name, but with a presence made of absence. That's me. You feel that absence in the moments when everything goes quiet, on that silent Sunday, in that glance in the mirror that lingers a second too long, or in that one simple, piercing question. Why am I even doing all of this? You became functional, and in becoming functional, you sacrificed your wholeness. You hid your pain behind laughter, traded depth for efficiency, called your dreams childish, and your instincts irrational. But I'm still here, waiting, because the soul doesn't scream, the soul waits. It retreats like the tide, but it never leaves. And the more you ignore it, the more the emptiness grows. Because the emptiness that haunts you is me trying to come back. You lost me because you stopped truly looking at yourself. And I can only return if you're willing to meet yourself again. The body as the lost portal. You see the body as a tool, a means of transport, a mind's accessory. But the body was never just flesh. It is an altar. Yes, I, your soul, dwell within it, or rather, I used to, until you locked the doors. Every tight shoulder, every unexplained pain, every sleepless night is a message your body delivers saying, I'm still here, but something is out of place. You treat it like a machine, but it is a temple, and a temple doesn't respond to commands, it responds to presence. You learned to push your body to its limits, to silence it with pills, to shape it for the gaze of others, but you forgot to inhabit it. The body feels before the mind understands. It vibrates, pulses, warns, but distracted, you call it signals, exaggeration, or bad luck. And in this subtle abandonment, I was cast out. Because for me to live in you, you must first live within yourself. It's in the body that you'll find me, not in your thoughts, not in your promises, but in the now, in the breath you ignore, in the touch you avoid, in the silence you fill with anything else. Your body is the only real portal you have, and until you reclaim it, I can only watch you from the outside. Just stop. Just stop for a moment. Now, breathe, but not the way you usually do, by reflex, by habit, by biological duty. Breathe as if this were a reunion, because it is. Every time you breathe with presence, it's as if you're knocking on my door. You spent so long living outside yourself. You've forgotten what it's like to truly inhabit the moment, to exist without expectation, without pressure, without haste, just to be. Each deep breath is a golden thread stitching you back into the now, and the now is the only place where you can find me. You want to feel your soul? Don't look for it in books or in heavenly promises. Close your eyes, breathe like someone diving in, and feel me. I don't speak in words, I speak in temperature, in pulse, in a lightness that comes from nowhere. The first time you stop and breathe with me, something shifts. It's like a gentle breeze on a suffocating day, or an echo you didn't know you were waiting for. This is the first doorway, simple, silent, undeniable. The soul doesn't enter with noise. It comes when you step down from thought and breathe like someone remembering they're alive. You learned how to survive, but to do that, you had to forget how to feel. You were raised hearing that feeling too much was weakness, that emotions are enemies of logic, that crying is a waste of time, that intuition is just an illusion. So you armored yourself, built layers, raised walls, and the more armored you became, the further you drifted from me, because I, your soul, can only live where there is space to feel. You feel, but you don't notice. Something tightens in your chest. You call it anxiety. Something weighs on your shoulders. You blame work. Something chills your skin. You say it's the weather, but it's not the world out there. It's me trying to reach you from within. You need to unlearn how to defend yourself from yourself, because there is no danger in feeling. The danger is in straying so far from emotion that you no longer know who you are. Anger shows you where there's injustice. Sadness reveals where something was lost. Fear points to the places still in shadow. And love is when I can finally feel your entire being. You want to reconnect? Then stop thinking about what you feel and just feel raw, simple, present. No naming, no labeling, no running. Because only when you feel me fully can I guide you back home. You're afraid of silence, and you don't even realize it. You turn on the TV just to avoid your own thoughts. You scroll your screen to avoid facing the emptiness. You speak even when there's nothing to say, and you stay busy, and not out of need, but out of defense. Because in silence I speak, and maybe you're not ready to hear me. Noise is comfortable. It distracts you from yourself. But I, your soul, do not speak through noise. I bloom in the space between thoughts. I dwell in the pause between breaths. I whisper when everything else is still. You search for answers in other people's voices, but the deepest questions can only find their echo in silence. Silence is not absence. It is heightened presence. It's when the outer world bows down and the inner world awakens. Yes, it may feel uncomfortable at first, because silence shows you what you've hidden for too long, the pain you haven't healed, the truths you haven't lived, the choices you postpone. But you must go through it. Stay, breathe, listen, because only when all else becomes quiet can you finally hear me clearly. And in that moment, for the first time, you are no longer alone. You searched for me in distant temples, in ancient books, in wise voices, in masters, and in miracles, but I was always here, within, waiting, like someone who knew that sooner or later you'd return. because every escape has an end, and every exile a way home. Now, something in you has shifted. Your breath holds more presence. Your body listens more. Your mind rushes less. And the silence feels less frightening. You didn't find me out there. You felt me in here. This moment, this quiet presence now wrapping around you like a cloak, is what you've always sought without knowing its name. It's me, your soul. And for the first time in a long time, we are in the same place. Can you feel it? It's not euphoria. It's wholeness, not certainty, but trust. Not escape from pain, but peace, even with it. Now, don't abandon me again. Return to me whenever you forget who you are. Breathe. Be still. Feel. The journey doesn't end here. It's only just beginning. Because when you align with me, reality stops being random and begins to respond to your truth. And that, my dear, is the beginning of awakening. If something in you grew quiet, if something pulsed, if for a moment you remembered who you are, then this message has fulfilled its purpose. The soul's journey doesn't end here. It only needs a space, a ritual, a presence, like the one we've just built together. If this video touched you, give it a like, not for the algorithm, but as a gesture of recognition that you felt, that you heard. If you feel you need more moments like this, subscribe to the channel. Here, every video is a reminder that your soul is still alive. And if you made it to the end, leave a comment below. I remember myself, so I know that you listened and that you're finding your way back home.